Hello, Mavericks. So I am back again with a new poem of Standard 10th, The Road Not Taken by Mr. Robert Frost. This poem has been written by Mr. Robert Lee Frost, who is one of the most outstanding writers of American history. His works were first published in England and then they were published in America. This poem is a narrative poem which was published in 1916, and its central theme is the divergence of path, both literally and figuratively. In this poem, the road symbolizes our life. The poet says that the path we don't choose in our life is the road not taken. The important message the poet wants to give in this is this, that the choice that we make has an impact on our future, and if we make wrong choices, we regret. But we can't go back. So we must be wise while making choices. Now let us go through line by line description of the poem. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveller, long I stood and looked down as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. So he explains that once he reached a diversion of roads, where he stood and looked at both the roads which went further. And as he, being an individual, could not travel on both the roads, stood there for a long time looking at both of them, trying to figure out which one he should take. So he observed each of the roads very carefully till the very length they extended and were visible, and then finally they bent in the undergrowth where the roads vanished. A similar thing happens in our life when we get choices. We try to figure out which choice is the best for us. And after identifying the pros and cons of each of the choices, we choose one which suits the best to us. Then took the other, just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had warned them really about the same. Here in this paragraph, the poet simply mentions that after observing for every aspect that he could have done, he chose the road which was not walked by many and which had better claims, better prospects, better future for him. As he could identify that the road was quite grassy. And by the term wanted wear, he just wants to explain that the road was quite inviting as nobody would have walked on it. It was quite an unused road. But after walking for some time on that road, he found out that it was also the same as the other road was, as it was walked by many as well. So here also he says that once we identify a choice which suits us, later on we don't like it as much as we liked it when we chose it. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no steps had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how ways lead on to ways, I doubted if I should ever come back. So the poet explains that that particular morning when he looked at both the roads in front of him, they looked quite equal, with same opportunities. Nobody has walked on any of the roads. Finally, he decided to take one road, and he kept the other road for another day. This shows the human tendency of trying to take both the options, and if it is not possible, they take one option and try to keep the other option for some other day, thinking that they might come back to take that particular option. But it is very much clear that
one way leads to the other way, and then the other way leads to the third, and then fourth. That simply means that once we start walking on a road, we cannot ever come back to the same point again. He has simply depicted one of the human tendencies. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. Well, here the poet has simply tried to explain that maybe in future, after many years later on, I will sigh, I will regret the choice that I took. And I would tell this to everyone that once upon a time I had to choose out of the two choices, and I took the one, the choice which was not taken by many, and that is why all the difference has come to my life. That is why I am so successful, or that is why I am not so successful. Well, this has been a topic for many critics who had been discussing whether he side with happiness or he side with regret. It's still a question. What do you say? Okay, now let us discuss the literary devices which are used in this poem. The rhyming scheme for this poem is AB, AAB. Such another figures of speech are found, as just as fair is a simile. Then we find alliteration in wanted where and other places. The whole poem is a symbolism where the roads deal with the choices that we keep on getting. It also contains other figures of speech like anaphora, when we find the same word and beginning many lines. Alliteration, as I have already discussed, and repetition is also there, like in ages and ages hence. Here, ages is repeated just to emphasize on the passage of time. Thank you for patiently listening to the entire video. Do like and subscribe if you liked the video. Thank you very much for your time. All the best.